Lesson 9.4 on problems using the Pythagorean theorem. We spent a lot of time studying the Pythagorean theorem in all of its different shapes and forms, but now let's try and apply it to a few practical examples. Here's a very common example that shows up quite frequently on standardized tests and ACT and SAT tests as well. Let's say that you were given a box here and you were asked to try and fit a stick within the box. In fact, the longest stick possible. In fact, what is the longest stick that can fit into the box below? The dimensions of this box are 18 inches by 6 inches by 12 inches. Now, if you think about how to fit objects inside boxes, the longest space you have for a straight object is from a near corner to the far opposite corner. Let's say illustrated by this brown dashed line here. But how do we find the length from a near corner to the far opposite corner? Well, to find that length, that line there fits within a plane that can be fit from the close near side to the far right side there inside the box. And inside that plane, you can recognize that there's some right triangles that we can work with. Well, that's Pythagorean theorem territory. Except we don't know the length of that plane. But to find the length of that plane, there's another right triangle that we can make use of, and that's the right triangle that's located down on the base. In fact, see down there, that right triangle there has dimensions of 6 inches and 18 inches. Just set up a Pythagorean theorem problem. 18 squared, 324, 6 squared, 36. Add those two products together, we get 360. So the length of that plane inside that box that contains that brown diagonal has to be square root of 360. You'll notice I didn't bother to simplify the square root of 360 at all. You can, but it's actually unnecessary, and you'll see why in a moment. Now we have the length of this plane, we have the height of this plane. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem one more time. 12 squared and the square root of 360 squared equals the length of the diagonal. Now do you see why I didn't simplify the square root of 360? Because since I just have to square it again, that just undoes the square root. So 12 squared, 144. Square root of 360 squared, 360. Add them together, we get 504. Square root 504, and we get 6 square root of 14. However, since this is an actual story problem where simplified square root answers don't give us the details we need, let's go and calculate a rounded answer. So rounded to the nearest hundredths place, D will have to equal 22.45. So the longest stick that could fit within this box will be 22.45 inches. This concludes today's lesson.